it goes very deep into their analytics and how their TVL increase and comparisons to their market cap and dApps being deployed, trading volume, how that all was affected from the liquidity incentive programs.
So there's some alpha that has not been disclosed anywhere. So this is the first time that we're mentioning it. So last week, the Yield Plus team finalized their blue paper. So the English version of the blue paper. It is, I believe, 59 pages long. And so they shared that with me on Thursday. And I reviewed it over the weekend, and we had a meeting this Monday morning to go over it. I got a chance to review it, then did a debrief session with them on Monday morning. And the NF has essentially pre-publication given them the go-ahead to start building this platform as well as the smart contracts over the coming months. So the guesstimate timeline is, let's say, 3 to 4 months for this to be deployed and live. And one of the reasons why we're fast tracking this, or that we're really going for it at the onset, is we would like this to align with the EVM on mainnet deployment, because there are really good synergies that Zach has spoken about on a few occasions. And so when this paper will be out, which I believe is going to translation soon, you guys are the first ones to hear that the actual work for the portal and the smart contracts have already been given the go-ahead.
There should be a one-pager that's in process also that we discussed on Monday, and I believe we're planning to publish that before the blue paper. So it'll have kind of a very high-level overview of what's in those 59 pages, but the 59 pages go really deep. But yeah, like you've said, the work, rather than waiting to get started on this, it's already begun, and that'll allow the oracles, the portal, and the tracking systems to all be in play sooner rather than later. And it's going to, what I believe, be one of the most advanced like TVL, like liquidity incentive programs that I've ever seen. Even in the blue paper itself, it analyzes other similar programs. For example, Phantom and Matic. It goes very deep into their analytics and how their TVL increase and comparisons to their market cap and changing at the same time, dApps being deployed, trading volume, how that all was affected from the liquidity incentive programs. But the interesting thing with ours is it's almost like it took a much more academic approach. And that is one of the advantages of being behind in some cases, is you're able to kind of take a step back and analyze what everyone else has done and what they were successful with and what they weren't. So the Yield Plus Blue Paper goes into that, into the data, really deep into the data. And I believe that those sections were done by the Origin guys, because that's kind of their bread and butter. But there's no other liquidity incentive program that is going to share publicly, at least, how much detail and thought went into the planning of the liquidity incentives. Just for comparisons, like Phantom they released their liquidity program, which is pretty good and is very successful, but it was done in maybe like a one-page blog post. So like we had to make a lot of assumptions and guesses on how they came up with their program. Whereas ours, it's kind of like it's out in the open, it's public, it's very detailed. And I believe that there are certain sections that aren't even necessarily EOS-centric. It would be interesting data to read from an academic standpoint for someone from any other blockchain ecosystem. And that's actually one of the things that came up on Monday, and a reason for a slight delay on sending everything to translation was to reformat the blue paper to take more of an academic formatting approach, because it is very much an academic research report as much as it is outlining where EOS wants to go with its liquidity incentive program, and the reasons why could be applicable to pretty much any chain that wants to take this academic research and take their own actions based on the findings of the Yield Plus group. So it's just another opportunity to kind of be another door that's open for other chains to look into. Even if they don't care anything about EOS, I think this would be interesting to DeFi enthusiasts. And if that's the case, if they just read this paper because they're a DeFi enthusiast and care nothing about EOS, that's still an EOS touch point. It's one step closer than that person or those people were before. And that's kind of our iterative approach we've been taking, is one step at a time, one touch point at a time to grow this ecosystem. So I'm super, super excited. It's heavy. But I think it will be the most exciting and most talked about blue paper we've done, because it's something that a lot more people are interested in as far as DeFi and liquidity and trading and things like that. compared to like security audits or wallets or core code. So I'm looking forward to those discussions.
Eve and Zach summarizes really well the Yield Plus initiative that's going to come along the way. But yeah, I think the teams that were on it, myself included, and all the core team members, like we really thought about it. Like this exercise is about thinking of how the chain, as EOS mainnet, wants to operate a liquidity incentive reward program, and spend 4 months thinking about it, looking at all the different scenarios, looking at different chains, how they did their incentive reward programs. So I think this exercise reflects in the paper and reflects all the details that were put into doing the research. And I would have full confidence on the delivery. So the teams that are core to writing the paper also have the technical knowledge on delivering what is in the paper. So I'm really looking forward to the final delivery of this. So I'm glad it got fast tracked into the approval of delivery. That way it can line up with Trust EVM timelines. And I think we have really strong teams behind this and that are going to deliver